So, the Department of Homeland Security in the United States of America is giving a grave new warning. They are warning critical infrastructure to prepare now. Get ready right now. Harden your assets right now because a major attack is underway. This is what the DHS is warning and sending out to critical infrastructures companies all throughout America. All right, they're giving them a major warning. So this is huge. You should take this warning as a warning for yourself as well. They always warn companies, and there's all this other stuff warning other countries, warning this or that, but they never come out and tell the American people, hey, you need to do this or that. You need to be warned too. Right? They never come out and address us personally and say the American people need to prepare for an EMP because they know they just know most people would panic, all right? And they know it would just be chaos, so they don't do anything. They just don't do anything. So they are warning critical infrastructure companies and the critical infrastructure sectors in the United States to harden their infrastructure right now for an EMP attack, all right? So this is huge that this is coming out. So a new report from the DHS's Science and Technology Directorate says critical infrastructure sectors need to harden physical protection for mission critical equipment ranging from servers and equipment for cloud service providers to electricity and emergency alert systems. All right. So pretty much everything needs to prepare now and get ready for an SHTF scenario potentially. It says, quote, electromagnetic pulses, whether caused by an intentional EMP attack. This is what the DHS is saying right now to the infrastructure sector in America, all right? Whether caused by an intentional EMP attack or a naturally occurring geomagnetic disturbance from severe space weather could disrupt critical infrastructure such as the electrical grid, communications equipment, water and wastewater systems, and transportation modes. That's what the DHS is warning of right now. This is something we need to prepare for. This is what they do. They warn, they tell you what's coming, and it's up to you to decide if you are going to get ready, if you are going to take the response seriously or not. All right. So very serious that this is happening. We need to get ready right now. DHS is giving massive warnings. All right. And the acting secretary of the Science and Technology Directorate of the DHS said, it is critical to protect against the potential damage an EMP event could cause. All right. They warned the public and private sectors of the need to prepare for an electromagnetic pulse attack and be ready to respond to a potentially catastrophic event. All right. So this is huge. We need to get ready too. You need to have your own power sources. And the thing with an EMP, it could wipe out your own generator or electronics too. If you were affected by this magnetic pulse, it could wipe out all electronics. You could be left with no power generation at all. Even if you have solar, you're off grid, you could be vulnerable. You need to look up how to protect these items. Essentially a Faraday cage, some kind of cage to put it in, but you need to look up your specific items. How could you protect them? Maybe you could just put a chain around them, put a chain, cage around them, put them in a dog cage, right? There's things you could do to protect your items, but you need to look into it now before they are cut off, because if an EMP hits and it knocks out your generator, your solar, what do you do now? What do you do? You're not going to be able to get replacement parts. What do? You're screwed. So get these things ready now. Get your wood stove. You need to be thinking of like primitive, low tech technology, but it's high efficiency. You get high value from it. You know what I mean? So try to find things that are low tech, but high value. Tools, certain tools that you can use if the power goes out. All right. Gardening tools, you know what I mean? Different kind of tools for growing food around the house, for chopping wood. All right. Axes, just like efficient tools that you need to have around the house that you can turn into more energy. You know what I mean? You can turn rakes and shovels into food. You can turn axes into fire to cook with and to warm yourself. You need to have efficient tools on your homestead, all right, on your property in case it hits the fan so you can rebuild if you need to. All right. It also said the United States could face massive blackouts and disabled technology from rare solar superstorms like the 1859 Carrington event. All right. 1859, they had a massive solar superstorm, but there was no electricity and technology like we have now, satellites. It wasn't as severe. Everything wasn't wiped out. People were already ready. It was just like, okay, cool solar storm. It's kind of cool. All right. But seriously, it's everything will be wiped out now. It's totally different. It says, or a nuclear weapon detonated at a high altitude, or an electromagnetic E-bomb that releases a pulse of energy intended to strike information systems or electronics around the detonation area. All right. So this is huge that they're warning about this. Huge. All right. The DHS is coming out and saying this, and we are seeing escalations with Russia. All right. They are giving constant nuclear threats. NATO is threatening them right back, saying, oh, if you use a nuclear device, we will potentially use a nuclear device back. All right. So this could escalate very quickly. And just like this says, a nuclear weapon could be detonated at high altitude, essentially an EMP bomb. So that could be a logical justification potentially from another country. They could say, hey, we're only doing an EMP nuke over your country. We're not going to kill anyone. We're not going to just drop a nuke on a city and get rid of people. All right. This is what they could say potentially. They're saying, well, this isn't as bad, so this is going to be our response. If we get into a nuclear escalation response, that could be one of the first responses before they even drop a nuke. It could be an EMP event. That's why the DHS is so concerned about this and warning critical infrastructure like electricity companies, electricity grids, banking companies, cell phone companies, communication companies. All right, they are all at risk from an EMP of disrupting and destroying their communication devices. And what would we do if there was a nationwide or a sector-wide of the United States event where all of the communication devices are destroyed, all the electronic devices are destroyed? How long would that take to rebuild? How long would that take? I was already talking about a few weeks ago how there are massive transformer shortages for electrical lines in Florida. They've used up all their transformers that they had in stock for Florida for the hurricane. And now there are massive shortages nationwide, and they are very scarce and require special metal that's only made at one single factory in the whole United States. All right. So if an EMP hits, it could definitely knock out these transformers that are very sensitive to electricity. And what if, the whole East Coast is knocked out? Like, how long is that going to take to get these transformers back in, to rebuild all the phones, all the towers, all the infrastructure could be destroyed very easily, very quickly. All right. It's very sensitive. And they're saying even the sun could do it. All right. It could just be random, be the sun, it'd be blamed on the sun. Like, oh, big sun, been, what I mean? They could just blame it on anything. It's one of these things you can't even see it. All right. You're not going to see an electromagnetic pulse. You're just not going to see it. You can't see it. All right. So let me know what you guys think. This is huge. The DHS is warning, prepare for an EMP now. Get ready now, guys. Get your stuff protected and get your stuff in case the power goes out. All right. Because they keep warning us. We're getting closer and closer to something big happening. All right. So thank you guys for watching, and you have a big old blessed day.